miscommunication for me. It's the mumbling all the time for me. It's the always gotta run off and cry for me. Okay? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nelly V. Hope y'all are having an awesome week. We are back at it again, episode 5, Married at First Sight. We are trucking through this honeymoon. This episode, I actually didn't write too much. I feel like they're trying to push this, Chris and Paige show, and it's not fair to the other couples. So I'm going to try to condense everything I have to say about them because I'm getting fed up with Paige at this point. And literally in the beginning, I was like, poor Paige. But then by the end, I was like, yeah, it's no sympathy anymore. Like, I'm done. So anyways, we're going to get into that. Oh, y'all, the humidity and the rain really got to the throat today. There is no definition, just frizz. Oh. Y'all bear with me. But if you are new to the channel, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Good to have you here. And we're going to get into the video. So we are starting with Haley and Jacob. Okay, I feel like I kind of saw some progress with Haley and Jacob this week. It kind of feels like she's getting a little bit more used to it, but it's her language. She's still like, I'm just trying to roll with it, and she just sounds like she's just trying to be strong and just trying to be a trooper, she's really not into him. The chemistry's not there, but she's really trying to give it a fair shot. I don't know. When they had their one-on-one dinner date, did y'all notice that they was wearing some glow-in-the-dark aviator glasses? I'm like, this has Jacob written all over it. And I'm like, sis, the man already has you looking crazy. There was no reason for these glow-in-the-dark glasses. No. Don't let his style influence you. You influence his style, okay? But at the end of the day, I did feel like, okay, she leaned in to kiss him. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of promising. But at the end of the day, when they turned away from each other after the kiss, it was still so awkward. But I'm like, she initiated that, so she must be, starting to feel a little bit something, Overall, she still seems to be reaching for positive things to say about Jacob, because even at the end when all the couples were sitting together and everybody was asking oh, how's it going for you? How has it been, being married and stuff? She was like, oh, our families really hit it off at the wedding. I mean, that's important, but that's not the first thing somebody who really likes their partner would say. It's an important factor. I'm glad y'all families hit it off. And I'm like, also, did they? Or did Jacob just tell them 17 stories about his house and they were just nodding and smiling and you feel like they hit it off? I don't know. In the next episode, though, we see that they might deal with a little conflict of some sort. So we'll see how she deals with, confrontation, how they deal with, conflict and communication, and see how that happens. All right, Briana and Vincent. Now, these two are moving along swimmingly. They playing footsies in the sand. They consummated their marriage. They're going on cute dates. I mean, Vincent talking about she's a match made in heaven. However, because I gotta bring out the negative. I gotta bring out, because it's still rubbing me the wrong way, the way Briana speaks sometimes. They were having a conversation about the living situation. Briana said, do you want to live in a townhome, a condo, or, something else? Vincent said, oh, I want to live in a townhome because, it's going to be more room and X, Y, and Z, whatever. And Briana's like, well, what if I want to live in a condo? It's like, okay, first of all, that's not how you have a discussion with somebody. Just because you want something doesn't mean, she's still so set on getting her way. And it's childish to me. It's just very annoying. Because if you feel like you want a condo, the best way to counter what Victor was saying was well, I would prefer a condo because X, Y, and Z. That's how you have a two-way dialogue, a compromise, And again, Vincent seems mad patient and mad he just goes with it and stuff, but it's gonna get old because it's Well, number one, if you wanted a condo, why didn't you just say that to begin with? Why are you asking him and then, you know, like, he's not going to agree with you 100% of the time. So it just rubbed me the wrong way because I felt like their communication, the dialogue, it wasn't open. It wasn't like a partnership. And Briana needs to learn that it's not always going to go her way. All right, next we have Ryan and Clara. Now, last week I was like, okay, it doesn't seem like his religion is a deal breaker for him, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm like, nah, because he was like, I want to raise my kids up in the church. I want them to have this moral foundation. She was like, I want them to be able to explore other religions and choose what they want. It's not a match. It's not going to work. Now, at first I thought, because the way that Clara was expressing herself, she was saying that I just don't like the way that religion was forced upon me and I didn't have a choice. And it seemed like she was still open to it. Like, okay, maybe Ryan can show you that happy medium. Y'all can find something that works for you. But now I'm beginning to think that, like, because sis went to a Bible college and she dropped out. So she just needs to come out and say what she does or what she doesn't believe in, because she clearly doesn't believe in what Ryan believes in. That's going to be a hard obstacle for them to get over. So I don't know about that one. I think she has some unresolved, resentment towards her parents, I guess, because she's really like, I didn't like the way they did this. I didn't like the way they did that. So she just needs to figure that out and decide what narrative she wants to push on her kids. Because if y'all don't agree on how to raise your children and what values you want to impart onto them, it's not going to work in the long run, because that's going to cause, conflict. So don't know about that. And I'm still not convinced that Ryan is super, super attracted to Clara. However, when they were talking about their living situation, Clara said, I think we're on the same page. After decision day, we would move into your house. I think Ryan owns his own home, so that's why she's saying that. But, that shows me that they're having these conversations like after decision day. So that means they're planning to, or they're hoping, as of today, 3 days into the marriage, that they want to stay together. So that's, so that's promising. Now, Clara said she doesn't think that Ryan is ready to live with somebody just because he's never shared his space with anybody. And I don't necessarily think that's true, because she knows she's messy. She says she's messy. She don't do dishes. Like, yeah, you're not about to come into his house and carry on with those same habits. That doesn't mean he's not ready to be with somebody. He just says he likes things a particular way. So you're going to have to be a little bit more tidier, and he going to have to be a little bit more lax. But I think they can do it. And Ryan has already kind of been accommodating, I guess, of all her messy suitcases and things like that. And she's a flight attendant, so I mean, she's not going to be there, full time. So I feel like they're going to be fine, but we'll see how that happens. She has concerns. I don't really see it as a problem. The last thing I'm going to say about these guys is I'm just not really feeling the chemistry at all. I really get friendship vibes from them. The way they talk, it's very like interview-like, and I get it. They're 3 days in and they are interviewing each other. But there's just no, I don't know, there's no like cute banter, there's no like touching, like they're just giving me friend vibes. So I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm really not sure that Ryan is really attracted to her. Clara, on the other hand, is like, Ryan is a 10 out of 10. So we'll see. Maybe I need a move to happen. We haven't even seen them kiss since the wedding. So yeah, we'll just see. It's not doing it for me. All right, let's move to Erik and Virginia. Now, Erik is acting like he's okay with the drinking thing and the partying thing, but he keeps making slick comments to me anyways. He's like, so they were at the cabana, they were drinking, she ordered some shots, some other drinks, and she took the shot, and he was like, was that good for you? And I felt like he wanted to say, like, you done now? Like, are you good? And I'm like, no, Erik, she's just getting started. So either you're cool with it or you're not. Like, you can't say you're cool with it and then you want to keep throwing shade every time she does it. Like, you said it doesn't affect, you said it didn't bother you. That's what you said last week. So which one is it? I've been a fan of Erik since day one, but I feel like this week I saw a side that I did not like. Like, he was very controlling and very, like, full of himself. First of all, he asked Virginia, like, oh, have you, seen any pet peeves about me that you don't like? And she was like, yeah, a little bit. And he was like, really? I'm a solid dude. But you're not perfect. Like, she just met you. Like, she's allowed to, comment on a couple things that she doesn't like so far, Like, he was really shocked that she had anything negative to say. Like, boy, you ain't nobody. Like, relax, okay? And then they had a conversation about basically, can guys and girls be friends? And, Virginia expressed that she had a male roommate. And then she was explaining herself, and Erik kept on kind of like cutting her off. And they were both kind of cutting each other off when they were talking. So I was like, yeah, this communication style is not good. Like, you asked her to explain herself, so let her tell the story. Like, don't just be jumping to conclusions without hearing her out. So Erik was like, I don't believe guys and girls can be friends, yada, yada, yada. Now, that is my personal opinion as well. However, you just met her 3 days ago. These guy friends have been in her life probably way longer than that. So I feel like it was kind of unfair for him to say that. Now, I know in past seasons, they usually do like a housewarming or like a get-together where they meet each other's, friends and family. If you meet her guy friends and then somebody, rubs you the wrong way, you get a vibe from them, then okay, then you can say like, okay, this friendship with this guy makes me feel uncomfortable. But again, those friendships have been with Virginia longer than you have known Virginia. So I think you got to give them a chance. And as long as they respect the marriage that Virginia is now in, I don't really see it as a problem. But Erik was like, nah, there's no way. Unless the person is gay, unless the person has a relationship with one of your friends, it ain't gonna work for me. So I was getting like controlling vibes from Erik, and I was like, Erik, don't do this to me because I like you, okay? So anyways, now their chemistry, I'm really happy for them. I'm glad they got the chemistry. I'm glad the passion is there. But I don't know, it's getting a little bit sloppy to me, And that's the impression that I had of Virginia when I first met her. And now I feel like some of her is rubbing off on Erik, but not in the best way. Like, they was coming in at the group meeting all disheveled, just drunk. I mean, tipsy, lit, something, They definitely had some alcohol in them, and they were just all over each other. And it's like, there's a time and a place for that. Like, come up for air, okay? Like, relax. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of PDAs, and I'm like, I feel like, yeah, you don't know these people, so like, just relax. So lastly, we have Chris and Paige, who find out some devastating, disturbing, surprising news this episode. Chris's ex-fiance is pregnant. But the way he goes about telling Paige was literally the most dramatic way anybody could have told anybody anything. Like, well, first of all, they're having dinner. Or they're having breakfast. Sorry, they're having breakfast. And she's like, do you want to pray? The man is like, he's still eating. He's like, oh, Jesus, da 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 da. 2 seconds. That shows you the man's character, okay? You had to ask him to pray. That wasn't in his natural inclination to do. So this man is not as godly as you think he is, okay? Number 2, then he's like, I have some devastating news. And then he doesn't even tell her. Why would you bring it up if you weren't going to tell her? Then talking about, oh, I'm good off not telling you. Oh, what time you want to go to the pool? The way that he was communicating would have made me slap him right then and there. Like, I wanted to shake the table and just take the food and just, ooh. It was so frustrating. The way he's always mumbling and everything. It's like, speak up. Speak up. Oh, this is the only time I'm going to say that I felt bad for Paige. This is the only thing. When she said, I feel like everything is being taken from me. And then later when she talks to Briana, when she's like, I feel like I got the short end of the stick. That's the only time I was sympathetic for Paige. The rest of her actions and the rest of her words throughout the rest of the episode, I was like, sis don't want to help herself at this point. She doesn't want to get herself out of the situation. All right. Chris tells Vincent that even though him and his fiance broke up in May, that was not the last time they were intimate. And it's later revealed that, you know, he went to go see her after her father passed away, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is presenting a problem to me because it's like, you were already probably in the process for this show. So you were not taking this seriously. And again, Paige, she came in with the purest intentions. And like some of the other, you know, people as well. They come in with the purest intentions. And the fact that you was out here 6 weeks ago still sleeping with your ex-fiance, and you just said you guys weren't even on good terms, but you were intimate with her. It's giving me sex addict. Like, you can't control yourself. It's like, what are you doing? And, you know, she's actually taking this process seriously. And this man was out here sleeping with his ex-fiance. And again, from jump, he was bringing up his ex. He clearly still has feelings for her. He clearly still, he's not healed. He's not moved on. And now they're about to have a lifelong bond of a child together. So then Paige is telling Briana, you know, explaining her thoughts about the situation. And she's like, I mean, he might be like, oh, I can't handle this. And I'm guessing she was like, oh, he's not going to be able to handle the marriage with this. And I'm like, sis, why do you sound like you're scared for him to leave? Like, respect yourself. The man wasn't thinking about you, so you need to think about you, okay? Then she's like, oh, you know, am I somebody who just quits when the going gets tough, blah, blah, blah? Sis, you don't need to suffer unnecessarily. This is an experiment, okay? The contract of y'all's marriage, the ink is not even dry yet, okay? You need to be logical. It's just devastating that she wants this experiment, so, like, this marriage so bad that she's just willing to overlook everything. And it's not even about the baby, okay? Chris has a lot of other red flags that are not related to the baby. It's the miscommunication for me. It's the mumbling all the time for me. It's the always gotta run off and cry for me, okay? There's way more things than this baby, okay? You need to be thinking about yourself logically. What are my best options here? And it's not to stick it out, okay? And she keeps talking about, like, oh, it's God's plan. God doesn't give you anything more than you can handle, blah, blah, blah. Stop hiding behind your religion. Stop, you know, you can still have logic. The amount of suffering that you've had to go through in these last 3 days for somebody you don't even know, is it worth it? No. Then it's like the sex timeline is not adding up to me. Chris told Vincent they slept together the first night, the first morning, and the second night. The second night is last night, okay? So you mean to tell me after the man had you distraught the whole day, after the man had a panic attack, he tells you you're not attractive and you still sleep with him the second night? So, all right. At this point, the bar is on the floor. She talking about, I told myself I wouldn't have sex with somebody again if, you know, he didn't know my middle name and da-da-da. The bar is on the floor, okay? Raise it up, boo. Respect yourself, okay? So, you know, they end up going to dinner together, and Paige is trying to get to the bottom of things. And she's like, well, do you still, you know, have feelings for her? Would you get back with her? You know, does she think you're going to get back with her? Blah, blah, blah. Chris completely dodges the question. And he's like, well, I mean, it doesn't even matter because you're the queen of my life. Since when? Where was that energy 2 days ago? 1 day ago? Like, and again, she's easily impressed because he's like, oh, he knows the order of things because God says it's your wife, you know, God, your wife, and then your kids. Sis, he's telling you what you want to hear. And he's using the faith to bait you. He's like trying to act like he's this guy that has it all together and you're feeding into the trap. He's selling you on a dream. Chris even says, you know, you deserve better than this. When a man tells you you deserve better, it's time for you to boss up, pack up your things, and go get that better, okay? So Paige apparently dealt with this situation before. She said she was kind of playing stepmom to her boyfriend's ex-daughter, her ex-boyfriend's daughter, and, you know, it seems like she basically said if we were in a better situation, she would be open to it. But before she was like, I don't know if I would date, you know, want to be with somebody with kids. So it was kind of conflicting. Either way, she was impressed by the fact that Chris said that he knows that that's the order to things. Like, you know, your God, the wife, the kids. He's saying that, but he hasn't lived through it. If you couldn't even do it with your ex-boyfriend that you chose, what makes you think you're going to be able to do it with a stranger? A stranger that's not even attracted to you. And he keeps saying, I'm growing and attracted to you, and you know, you're intelligent, you're smart, blah, blah. He's telling you all the things you want to hear, and it's just like, girl, see through the BS. I'm begging you. Pack up your stuff and go, okay? So at the end of the episode, they're with all the other couples, you know, everybody's sharing their experiences, and this was just very, very sad. You know, they asked Paige how she's doing. She immediately looks at Chris, but ends up telling them the story anyway. I mean, Chris says it, but like, Paige kind of has to open up the floor, and it's like, no, I wouldn't be saying a dang thing because Chris is the one who got us in this situation, so Chris is gonna explain it, you know, to everybody, you know? I didn't even like that, but he's such a bad communicator, so I could understand why she had to clarify everything for everybody. Then, you know, everybody's very supportive of Paige. They're like, we support you with whatever you do, blah, blah, blah. And Chris feels the type of way because, you know, he feels like people are supporting Paige, not them as a union. Again, they know Paige, the girls know Paige, and they like Paige, and they feel like she's genuine. They don't know you, and the guys already didn't think too much of you. So what they got to defend you for, or they're not gonna say anything. Again, you got us into this mess. You know? What compassion were you seeking? I mean, it was sad, and I can understand because he's overwhelmed. There's a lot going on, and you don't want to hear people's good news when you're going through it. Nobody does, but you brought this upon yourself, so I don't feel bad for you. So then here comes Erik and Virginia skipping down the hallway late, and they're like, you know, what's going on? And, you know, Chris gets defensive. He's like, I don't owe nothing to nobody. We get it, but this is a reality TV show, so you had to know that this was gonna come out, and everybody's gonna have to give their opinion about it. Like, you're not gonna be able to be private, okay? So Erik and Virginia, they are like laughing, they're making jokes, and I didn't like the way they were approaching the situation. Virginia's like, oh, like, is it yours? Da da da. I didn't think that was out of place, to be honest, because again, if you were preparing for a show that you knew you were going to be on in 2 months, you shouldn't have been messing with your ex that you know, broke it off with. But I don't know. The end of the day, what I didn't appreciate about Virginia and Erik is that they were like giving all this unsolicited advice, like, and you know, because nobody else did that. Everybody was like, we support you, like, da 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 da, just keeping it general. Erik is like, oh, you gotta focus on Paige, and then Virginia's like, oh, you got 9 months. It wasn't the time or the place for that. So I can understand why Chris was getting upset with that, because that was not their place. And then on top of that, they were rubbing Chris's shoulder, rubbing Chris's knee. You don't know this man from nowhere. He could just flip a table on y'all. Like, keep your hands to yourself. Like, I feel like that was what they did. That was a very, like, it was just so like white people to be unaware of how your actions be coming off. Like, you don't touch nobody when you don't know them. Okay, you don't do that. You don't need to do that. You know, you can just offer your support and then keep it pushing. At the end of the day, what I need Paige to understand is that she doesn't deserve this, and she's acting like she has to take this and that this is God's plan and all of that. And it's like, no, God has also given you free will, and you can also, you know, choose to evaluate these choices logically. It doesn't mean you're a quitter just if this experiment ends in divorce. This is an abnormal thing. You do not have to put up with disrespect. And I just need her to pick up her self-esteem and to really, you know, really, again, just think critically about you talking about, oh, the wife comes first. You didn't even want to tell her the news that you got the girl pregnant. You was dancing around the issue. Chris was not ready for the show, okay? You were not ready for the show emotionally because you still had ties to your ex and it was way too soon. You were about to get married to her. You're not ready intellectually because you don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to be honest, you know? And if Paige wants to ignore those flags, that's on her. So from this point on, she on her own. It is what it is. I'm rooting for you, Paige, but you got to do better. You got to do better. I'm gonna give her until she gets at home, because I think she's going to continue to ride this wave on the honeymoon and stuff. When she gets home, if I don't see a behavior change, she's dropped, okay? She's dropped. I don't like her no more, and it is what it is. Okay. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts. You know, tell me, what was the craziest thing that happened this episode? What y'all think about all the couples? What y'all think about Ryan and Clara? Do you think it's like... Because to me, like I told y'all, I'm getting a business professional relationship, you know? What do y'all think about Haley and Jacob? Is she faking it? What do y'all think about Briana and Vincent? Do you think I'm being hard on Briana? Because I know y'all love Briana. Who else? Virginia and Erik. What about them? Just tell me what you think about all the couples, okay? And I will see y'all next week for next week's episode. Bye.